Hey, what's up fellow anglers? It's Aaron LeSieur here and I'm out on the Delta. This is day 2, so if you watched the last episode, you saw that I whacked them yesterday on some spinnerbaits. The weather's changing, the fall is finally here, no more sweating my ass off out here in the 100-degree weather. Gonna be donning a sweatshirt on this early run. We're gonna head out to Frank's. Now, if you've been following the show, you know I had a contest when I got to 1,000 likes on YouTube. And my buddy here, Nick Utterback, won the contest. And during that contest, I asked, what are some of the things you wanted to learn? Maybe something you wanted to do as become a better angler or learn something more about the Delta. So Nick's out of Livermore, fireman out there. We're gonna try to get out here and whack some fish. So Nick, tell me, I know what you said on the YouTube channel and on the comments, but tell the viewers, what is it that you wanted to learn out here coming on the Delta? I know you're a new fisherman, got a new boat. And so talk to me about what you wanted to do out here.
Yeah, I was hoping to pick up some tips to maybe make me a more consistent fisherman, because I come out here and I'll have some days where I can just kill it. Right. And get a lot of fish, and then I'll come back out, the same tide, same type of day, using the same lures, and then they're gone. It's inconsistent for me. Right. A lot of people say it's a lot harder to fish out here in the Delta than it is in some of the lakes, because it's because you have to deal with the tides and the currents and all that. But for me, finding the fish consistently is tough. Yeah, and then this fishery can be tricky, because you do have things that change out here. The tides are changing every 6 hours. You got weather changing all the time out here. One day it's windy, one day it's flat. You just never know. These fish are constantly moving. So we're gonna head out to Frank's this morning, and we're gonna just get out there. The reaction bite's been really good this last couple of days since I've been out here. We're gonna hop around. When we get out to Frank's, we're gonna talk a little bit about Frank's, and then try to go throughout the day to figure out how to become a little more consistent out here when things are going wrong or you're not getting bit, maybe some ways to mix it up, and just kind of go through the day in the process of how I think when I'm out here and trying to catch more fish. And I'll tell you, I'm not absolutely awesome out here. I mean, I've been out the Delta, I've fished out here hours and hours and hours, and I'll leave out here some days with my tail between my legs. It happens to everybody. It's not just me. No, that's not just you. It's just this fishery can be tough, and it's the nature of the beast. But some days you can get out here and you can just stroke them, and then the next day you might have to move to another area or do a different technique, and some days the fish just don't cooperate. So let's get out there. We're gonna make a little run to Frank's. We're out here at B&W. A little bit chilly. I'm gonna throw my sweatshirt back on. I'm gonna try to put something together. Let's go catch some fish and hopefully catch some big ones today. What do you say, man? Hell yeah. All right, let's do this. All right, let's go. Okay, so we had to scrap that Frank's plan. I drove out there and the wind is howling. It's a lot windier today than it was yesterday if you watched the previous episode. So we're gonna hop around a little bit around Middle River and kind of come up the backside of Frank's, still be able to show you how to fish to the conditions and try to get a consistent bite when you come out here, what to look for. Right now we're just kind of looking for some areas that are not as windy but still have some wind, and some tulles on this riprap, and just keep this reaction bait going. If you watched the previous episode, you would have seen that I was catching a bunch of them on a spinnerbait. That's pretty much all I did yesterday. So today, we're gonna throw a little bit of the Whopper Plopper. Nick's already hooked up again. This is like his 3rd fish this morning. They're still on a plopper bite, and we've got a chatterbait here to see if we can get some big fish in the boat today. Nice fish, man. So, look at that. Calling this stuff. We're on camera. Nick's putting them in. Oh, he's dropped. This is the second one he's dropped, by the way, too. We got to work on his fish grip. Just small ones so far. This is Nick's third. This is his 3rd 2-pounder. Second one we caught on this stretch. And of course, you're going to see also, I'm going to throw waypoints down on this stretch here. I'll start at the waypoint where we started, and then where we're going to end. And we might go through here twice, since Nick's catching a bunch already. So I'm gonna stop talking because I want to catch some fish. What's your thought on speed of retrieval? Constant, vary it?
I like to vary it. I like to vary my retrieves on all my baits.
So on the Whopper Plopper, I'll go slow and I'll give it a couple quick turns. On the spinnerbait, hey, another one. On the spinnerbait, I'll vary my retrieve as well. I'll throw it out there, I'll rip it, I'll burn it, and stop it. Just to, a lot of times these fish will look at it and they'll get behind it, and then they're like cats. As soon as you like jerk it or do something erratic, they'll bite it.
Little guy.
What we did is we went all the way down, and we're gonna make one more pass through since we're still getting bit, to try to see if we can get maybe a giant out of here. And we're still getting bit, just not the big one we're looking for yet. Right?
We have a blast. We cook together, eat together, work out together.
There we go.
Nice. Play, laugh, you know, it's all fun.
Right.
But then when it's time to work, looks like a decent one.
That's pretty solid.
Looks like a good one, dude. It is. That's the nicest one today, I think.
So far.
I think that's the nicest one. Nice fish.
He's fat. Oh, he's trying to hook me.
Nice plopper fish.
Took me a while. It's the first one to the boat today. He's pretty chunky. So we're at almost at the end of the run of this one spot. It's come up to the end towards this pipe. Came about 10 yards off the bank there, plopping it away. I mean, look at how fat that fish is. Awesome stuff right there. We're getting ready to take off. Hit spot number 2. Get a little bit closer. This is a big flat right here though. It should be out here too.
So I noticed you don't use your electronics in the front.
No, sometimes every once in a while I do out here. If I'm kind of fishing a certain depth, should be a fish right in this corner. Sparse tulles like this. There's really no need. I'm not searching for fish. The only time I really use it is just to see what depth I'm in. A couple more casts. Nothing going on over here. We should have already been bit by now. There's going to be some action. I think this would be the spot. It's right on this little point. Sparse tulles. One more. We need to do some battery changes. Get off there. Oh. Little guy.
Got one.
He's got a little friend following him, like a 6-incher.
Well, they're still hitting top water.
And they still are. Let's throw another couple casts over here. We got bit right there. That water is warm, man. Can't believe how warm it is. I don't even know what game he's playing right now. I mean, I was the same way when I was his age, though. That's a nice one right there. He's barely hooked, too. Barely hooked.
All right. Nice fish. Wow, that's a good one.
Whopper Ploppers still catching. We might have to get you back on this bait and scrap the spinnerbait. Come on, bro.
Nice. That's
Trying
nice
to get it to where I'm not going to get hooked here.
Yeah,
there we go.
Nice fish, bud.
Thanks, man.
Look at that guy.
Well, they're still eating the top water. The water's really warm. I mean, the wind is blowing. We still got our sweatshirts on, but the water's noticeably warmer. We bugged out of that last spot, went up and down, and then so we're just hitting kind of the same areas that we had success on this morning. So when you come out here and you have success on a spot, there's so many areas like that on the Delta, you just can kind of look and keep repeating that. So we're looking for these riprap banks that have got a little bit of a flat on them with some sparse hydrilla pockets, and this one's got sparse tulles. So we're just gonna keep running and gutting these, and they're a little bit away from the wind. We still get a little chop for a spinnerbait and a reaction style bait. We're catching some good fish. And keep this trainer rolling right there. I did say this part of it, we should be getting bit. I said, it's got a point. Sparse tulles. Uh-oh. Yes. That's another nice one.
Whoop.
Get him, get him. Get out of your way.
And my GoPro's dead.
I got the footage. Mine's dead too. We got the main camera going. Nice. I was getting ready to shut the camera for the next scene, and Nick gets hooked up. Spinnerbait. Gotta put the waypoint down for you guys. This is a good little spot right here. So we're doing a 1-2 punch. We're just kind of throwing this stuff in pockets and around these little hydrilla patches. And I've got Nick on the spinnerbait and me on the Whopper Plopper, and they're both working right now. Good stuff. Those fish are kind of actually eating towards the outside edge versus up here on the inside. Where'd your spinnerbait fish come from? Was it towards the outside of this, or was it closer to the shore?
Closer to the shore.
Oh, okay. Because I had that. Oh man, did you see that thing crush that?
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
Good one too.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Stay on there. Oh, yeah, that's about the same size as the other one. He came up,
which is good.
He ate it like he was an 8-pounder. You want to hit the front? Perfect. Woo. Oh man, I thought that was going to be a lot bigger. He crushed that thing like he was an 8-pounder, and he came up being a 2-pounder. But what we did is we started on this stretch is pretty small, and the key things about this stretch are it's on a point, it's got sparse tulles, it's got sparse hydrilla mats. There's a little bit of a flat right here, and we've got deep water access to the side. So it's got all the makings of your high percentage area. And then when you come out here on the Delta, that's the kind of stuff you're gonna look for if you're struggling and not being consistent, just constantly looking for these high percentage areas. Fish it just like a lake, even though you've got tides involved. Look for points, look for ledges, things like that. Cover, things that bass are bass everywhere. So, and then if you find a spot, like what we're doing is we go through it once and we're going back one more time to see if we can milk a few more bites out of it. And that was the second time around, that was the first one. Woohoo! This kind of stuff. Oh, it just got bit. There he is. Oh, that's a nice one.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh. All right, another solid fish.
Another nice spinnerbait fish.
All right, we've found another spot similar to what we've been doing, which is on a point, sparse tulles on a flat. And mixing it up, I got the spinnerbait out because Nick's throwing the Whopper Plopper. I don't want to do the exact same thing. Make sure this bite's still going on. I still got that Demiki MTB from the previous episode that I modified with a little Kitech 3.8 on the back. It's like a pretty skinny guy. He should be heavier than he is. We're gonna take it though. Woohoo! Good stuff. Let's do it again. There he is. Oh! Oh, dang it. No.
What happened?
I thought that might happen. Okay. Okay, boys and girls. If you've caught a ton of fish on your spinnerbait and you've bent it multiple times, you should probably change it out. That was like a 1.5 pound fish. Broke it in half. So if that was a 10-pounder, I would be on the floor crying right now. Because I know better. It's wire, and as you bend it back and forth, it gets weak right at that bend point, and eventually what's going to happen is it's just going to snap off when a big fish bites it, and there you go. That's what happens.
That rock bank right there.
There we go. Little guy though. Uh-oh. Or the chatterbait. That's a little one though. This is kind of what I was catching. Whoa, hey, fish down yesterday. I caught a bunch of these little guys, but today we're catching some actually better solid fish. We haven't caught that many of those little ones today. Oh, there you go. Nice one. Another spot where we're hitting a main river. We're in Middle River Point. Sparse tullies, we're on this outside edge. Another high percentage area spinnerbait fish right there. Keeping it going.
White with the white trailer.
Nice, nice job, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, hooked up. Nice one. Oh, fish down. Spinnerbait fish. Nice one. We're just hopping around all over the Delta looking for that specific pattern. There's another point on Middle River. There's some sparse tullies back here that you're not going to see in the shot, but then we've got some sparse grass along this point, and this riprap has kind of been the key. We did fish some areas that had some mud and sandy bottom, but we got 0 bites doing that. So we're back to looking for this stuff. We're going to fish down here just for a little bit longer and call it a day. You guys, we got a lot of spots on here and a pattern put together. You guys can try to come out here and repeat this yourself. So we're going to throw a few more spinnerbaits down here, see if we can't get a couple more before we close it out. Good job, buddy. All right, that's a wrap for today's episode. We're gonna do episode 2 out here still, but I wanted to show you a pattern for the morning, and we're gonna go back out, try something a little bit different. Just throw the same baits, but go look for some different areas. So I'm gonna show you the baits we used this morning. We both used the exact same baits. So I'll show you what I had on my setup. And one thing to note is basically the areas. I'll review those real quick. We looked for points on the river that had sparse tullies, some sparse vegetation, and a little bit of wind on there, not a whole lot of wind. And that vegetation, there was a little bit of a flat next to it. So those were pretty much the keys, and we hopped all around Middle River looking for those areas, and we pretty much got bit almost, I'd say 80% of the places that we stopped. There were a couple that we went where it was kind of dead, but it didn't have all the right ingredients. They had some mud, or there was something missing out there that we couldn't find.
Yeah.
Let me show you the baits real quick. Like always, we were both throwing a white spinnerbait. Was yours 1/2 ounce too?
Yeah.
1/2 ounce with a Kitech or some sort of paddle tail swim bait on the end of there. And just basically slow rolling it either on the outside weed edge or up close to the riprap bank. And so I just have mine straight braid 20-pound Power Pro. Now you'll need to note that we did find, and I like to throw a straight braid on these things, but it does get fouled up more often than not having a leader on here. So I'd probably recommend about a 20-pound floral leader on here, a double uni knot, something so you're not getting fouled up as much. And what happens is when these things start to fall and you let it fall without any tension on it, the braid will tend to get wrapped up on the spinnerbait, and then you're gonna get it fouled up and you're gonna ruin some of your casts. And that may be the difference between 1 or 2 more bites a day. I got it on my Dobbins rod. You guys have seen these rods before. It's a Champion 734 split handle. It's the 734 CSH. And it's just, again, on an Abu Garcia Revo STX. You guys, if you've been following the show, you see I'm pretty much using the same equipment from show to show, and you're getting used to seeing that. The other bait that we were using, which I didn't use in the last episode, was the Whopper Plopper. I was on a really good spinnerbait bite yesterday, and I pretty much didn't put the spinnerbait down. And today we found some areas that had a little less wave action, a little less wind, and I almost didn't bring this. Because I thought, well, there's not really a Whopper Plopper bite, and that would have been dumb because Nick had.
I brought mine because I'm addicted to them.
Yeah, and so we're back at the ramp, and I go, you know what? I better throw one in here just in case. And I'm glad you brought that up because I wouldn't have caught some of those nice fish if I didn't have this on there. This is obviously River to Sea Whopper Plopper. Nick was throwing the 110. He's getting bit on that. They're both same color. This is the 130, both on heavy braid. Mine's 65. What do you have yours on?
Same.
Okay. No leader on this. You don't have any fouling issues when you go straight braid, and it makes it easier to pull it out of the tullies. Nick and I put a bunch in the tullies today, and you can yank and yank, and you did break one off. We pulled on it pretty hard. But for the most part, if you can get that tully bent over, you just pull it straight towards yourself, and it comes right out.
I was using a fluoro leader, a 20-pound fluoro leader, and when mine broke off, it was the fluoro that broke.
Yeah,
it wasn't the braid.
Yeah.
And then I switched over to straight braid, and haven't had any break off since
that one.
Yeah.
Now this is on the Dobyns Champion. This is one of the newer rods. It's their glass rod. It's the Champion DC 35. It's a crankbait glass rod, but it works really good for this Whopper Plopper. It's got really good tip on there, nice and soft when those fish load up, and it's got heavy enough backbone to really keep them pinned on there. And when they start shaking their head, that parabolic in the tip really gives them that leeway so they're not ripping this big bait out of their face. 65-pound Power Pro braid. So Nick, after today's morning session, do you have any takeaways or anything you learned out there today?
Absolutely. I'd say one of the big ones is trying to figure out in the beginning where you're going to get bit, look at the surroundings, try to repeat that.
Right.
Go around, look for, like right off the bat, we hit the sparse tullies off the riprap, and then we kept looking for the same type of structure, the same type of vegetation by the riprap, looking for the same vegetation in the water, and yeah, I mean, worked out great. And also figuring out, you know, which color they were biting.
Right.
In this case, it was white spinnerbait, white trailer for me, and then the white Whopper Plopper also, and repeating that and sticking with it for a while.
Right.
It's so easy to throw it down and say, this isn't working anymore, I'm going to switch. But in this case, we've been consistently trying the same things, and it has consistently been catching. I've caught 9 today so far, and you know, for me, that's a good day. It's fun. Yeah,
we caught a lot of fish this morning, and that's true of the Delta in general. When you get on a pattern, pay attention to what's going on and try to repeat that. This place is so diverse. You're going to be able to find that same scenario all over the Delta. You just got to put the time in and learn the fishery. And we kind of I knew where there were some points that were like that, and we kind of hopped through those. And like I said, about 80% of them we got bit on, and it just we continued to work that pattern throughout the day.
Yep.
So part 2, next episode, we're going to do this. We're going to throw the same baits because they've been working, but we're going to go look for some different stuff and see if we can't pattern something else to show you that even though there's one pattern, there's always multiple patterns going on out here on the Delta. We're going to try some islands. We might just do some straight riprap banks with some tullies. I don't know yet. We're going to go try to figure something else out.
Yeah.
Good first session, bro.
Yeah, I had a great time.
All right, right on. Yeah, we caught a lot of fish. No giants, still due for a giant. So like always, make sure you follow me on the YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook to get the updates. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. I'm Aaron LeSieur. Stay focused, fish hard, and I'll see you out on the water.